Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Jurassic World Rebirth. And this is from director Gareth Edwards. And this film is yet another Jurassic World film that takes place 5 years after Dominion, which closed out the story of Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard's characters, and this is a fresh new cast and a fresh new story, and the world has changed a lot in the 5 years since Dominion. Many of the dinosaurs have died out because of the climate, and now they're really just focused on the equator and a lot of these islands. And this film, directed by Gareth Edwards, I think is really well directed. It has a great look to it. It has some really impressive cinematography from John Matheson, and Edwards, who really leverages special effects. So while these dinosaurs look great, the scale is really impressive. You really feel the size and majesty of these creatures. And Alexandre Desplat does the score, which I was really digging the score, and then you'd have moments where it just like really leans into just doing John Williams' score, and you're just like, did we really need to have this? And that there's some of the elements of this film that ring a little hollow is when it really tries to borrow too much from the original Jurassic Park, or even 5 other Jurassic movies that are in this franchise. And when this film's trying to be its own, I think it works best. And it has an interesting setup. It's, evil guy from Company, played by Rupert Friend, wants to, their drug pharmaceutical company wants to create a cure for health disease, and he needs DNA from the biggest dinosaurs with the biggest hearts, and hires Scarlett Johansson, who's a hired extractor, mercenary type character, who has her whole crew, including her ship captain, who gets her place as Mahershala Ali's Duncan. But they need somebody there who's good with dinosaurs, so paleontologist Dr. Henry Loomis, played by Jonathan Bailey, and his slutty little glasses, according to the internet. And you have this setup, and they're on the boat, and there's other people part of the crew that are destined to, not survive, because, it's a Jurassic World film. But they meet up with a whole entire little family of this father and his teenage daughter and his young daughter and his teenage daughter's boyfriend. They're all on a boat, but they wind up getting on their boat, and then this film turns into 2 parallel stories on this island. And from the very start, this film opens with a really well-structured horror scene with this giant, disturbing, mutated dinosaur, which, do we need to have any more, genetically engineered, mutated dinosaurs anymore? They've done this idea so many times in these Jurassic World films that, and honestly, it's in the movie for such a small period of time towards the end, and could have easily just been a regular dinosaur. It didn't really do anything unique or new, except look like the Rancor from Star Wars, and also a bit of genitalia, but we're just going to leave it at that. Sure, xenomorph, except this is flesh-colored. And it's just that element's distracting. There's a lot of things that it borrows, cliche-wise, from other films in this franchise, and that could have been done without. The struggle is, this is a big ensemble and has 2 separate stories on this island, and the film doesn't have enough time to really invest in these characters, to deepen them, so it gives us a baseline for who they are, trust the actors to do a lot of the heavy lifting, and then put them in a whole bunch of crazy situations. And I think this film would have benefited if it was more focused, or make it this extraction film that the whole entire plot sets it up from the beginning, or, make a separate movie where a family winds up, shipwrecked on one of the Jurassic islands. And, because, this film feels like it's with that family trying to be like Jurassic Park 3, and then trying to do its own thing with this main plot, and it just feels like it's too distracted, pulling from each other. They do wind up, converging in a big climactic element of the film, but I think the dinosaur action's incredible. I think Gareth Edwards really directs it well. I think so much of this film relies on its cast. I think that whole family's pretty endearing, honestly, and it works pretty well. But it's Jonathan Bailey, very charismatic and fun, nerdy paleontologist. Rupert Friend is just so slimy and plays it perfectly. Mahershala Ali just brings a presence to things, and Scarlett Johansson brings that kind of presence and emotion as well. And I feel like if it weren't for a lot of these actors, this film would fall a little bit more flat. But at the end of the day, this is still a pretty entertaining, if not unfocused and a little cliched approach, retread of Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. It's all Jurassic Park. I don't know why they felt so badly that they had to change the name of this franchise, but it's all Jurassic films, and this one is not the most original of the bunch, but I do feel like it strips away a lot of the nonsense from the last couple of them and the ridiculousness, and treats this a little bit more intense, a little bit more thrilling, and a little bit more grounded than some of the Jurassic World films in this second half of the franchise. And it's actually pretty refreshing to be able to get a little bit stripped down. And, some of these characters were a lot of fun and I enjoyed watching them. And sure, some of their fates were pretty predictable. Some of them, not so much. And at the end of the day, I think this is still an enjoyable Jurassic project. I was not excited for it. I still had a good time though, and I feel like a lot of people are kind of past this, but, it still has some fun to be had. But those are my thoughts on Jurassic World Rebirth. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.